It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
With Ease US makes studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Send money abroad in just a few steps with Remitly. Sign up with your email, enter an amount, choose how your loved ones receive the money, enter your recipient's information, select a payment method, hit send, and relax. Download the Remitly app today.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator. The You Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. You Like.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are live from Villanova, Pennsylvania, and no place I'd rather be right now. Really, there isn't. I mean, it's the fall. It's, I'd rather have the circumstances be different after both the Phillies and Eagles losing last night, but that's just me being a homer, and we'll touch on that a little bit, but don't worry, we won't waste too much time with it. We will be talking about the Eagles, though, when we talk to George Teague. He's coming up at 10:40. We're going to talk to him about the Cowboys, his career a little bit in Dallas and with Alabama, and Dak Prescott specifically. I'm very curious to see what a guy like George thinks about Dak Prescott and the MVP type season he's having right now as the Cowboys get set to go and take on the Carolina Panthers, where they're a favorite again. They're a 3.5-point favorite. And I would expect Dallas to win that game, and I would expect this to move on. A couple weeks ago, I sat with you guys and we talked about the Cowboys schedule. And I think Denver is next after this, if I'm not mistaken. And I just think there's a lot of the schedule in the NFL is never going to be a cakewalk, but I do think they have a favorable schedule. The Cowboys do coming up here. So be interesting to see about that. Let me just look it up real quick now that I'm on it. So the Cowboys have this weekend, they have the Panthers, okay, where they're a 3.5-point favorite. Okay, so then they're home against the Commanders, which we'll see what version of the Commanders we get. And then they're on the road against the Broncos. That's going to be tough. Broncos are 3-2. They're playing really good. Then the Cardinals, then the Raiders. I mean, so you have games here. The Cowboys right now at 2-2-1. You know, I would imagine they would be 3-2-1, then maybe 3-3-1, 4-3-1, 5-3-1. They should be 5-3-1 on November 23rd going into that game against the Eagles, which will be crucial. But we'll sort all that out with George Teague. Really lucky to have him join us this morning. We'll also have Dan Ingham at 10:20. Get into some of Dan's picks. Dan and I are both like in the dumpster, and Scotty talked about it yesterday with Kevin and with Liz. Like, it was like a bad look for me. I went 0-6 last week. So there you go. We'll run an underdog ad, but do your underdog stuff. Just try not to lose nonstop like me. The Pete Sousa Show, of course, presented by Slovačiks. If you're going up and down I-35 this weekend, you got to stop at Slovačiks. I mean, it is the ultimate in experiences, especially this time of year, because if you drive by on 35, it's like it's like an empire. It's like Buc-ee's with a personal connection. You know, Buc-ee's used to have the personal connection, but now it's just like it's out of control. They're everywhere. But there's Buc-ee's like in Georgia. Like, come on, Buc-ee's, it's Texas, right? Good for Buc-ee's, don't get me wrong, but when you talk about Slovačiks, you talk about something that's specific to Central Texas, Texas in general. And you go see Ray, oh man, you get a kolache and you get a good vibe. And now's the time of year where you can pick up Christmas ornaments, which is really cool as well. Also, Sikora Family Ford, Crawford Austin Properties, Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. We did that segment yesterday. Who needs Daniel Stark? I got Napalm by Scotty. The Bill Belichick stuff is just out of control. I don't know. Now I think it's like it's kind of over. We're shooting the mark in a sense where it's still only 5 games. Like, I'm not saying he's going to turn it around or right the ship. But if I would be, here's my quick thought on Bill Belichick in the North Carolina college football situation. If you're going to pull the plug, you should do it right now. If I was him, I would do it right now. Because I think North Carolina could move on and it would help them sort of prepare for the future. And then Bill could move on and it could prepare him for whatever his next act is. But like going through the rest of this painful disaster and, you know, then leaving at the end of the year, I think we're in such a fluid society, right? I think we live in such a fluid society here, sports wise, that and especially in college football, like with the transfer portal, like if Bill leaves, then his players could leave and then they could start getting it's just, I think attacking this now might be the best idea. And put up Kevin Fisher's post real quick one more time. Kevin says, does Underdog have the anti-Pete Sousa package? All the picks didn't make. They could be a winning ticket. Maybe. That might be a good idea. You just do the opposite, like George Costanza, right? So I watched the Phillies last night. It sucked. You know, they suck you in just enough. And here's what I mean. I'm not like the big postseason baseball guy. I just never really. I'm sorry. I'm not the big regular season baseball guy. But when the postseason starts, especially now, it's a little clumsy in a sense where it's like, oh, okay, like I'm a kid of the 80s and 90s. So I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like this is a wild card game. And then after the wild card, it's the division series. And then we're in the NLCS, ALCS. So like with the wild card, Phil's didn't have to play in that. But there they are in the divisional series. They lose 2 at home. Then they win 1 at Chavez Ravine. Last night, we're in extra innings. The Phillies had several opportunities to win the game. And the way they lost, I mean, obviously, I would say the Dodgers are a better team. But that was a game the Phillies could have won last night. I mean, the Phils walked in a run, and the Dodgers scored the winning run on an error, which is like, God, you forget these guys are human. The ball goes right back to Kerkering, and he bobbles it a little bit. And the winning run is charging home, but you've got to force out at first. And the guy had plenty of time, and he just made the mistake. He double clutched. He threw home. Real Muto, the catcher, had no shot, and that's it. Season's over. So those are kind of the moments that make postseason baseball really special, because it's like, man, this is it. Like the season's over now, which is like, man, it was a bummer. It was a real shock. I watched the first part of the game with my buddy Murph, and then I was home with my mom, and the expletives were flying. I couldn't believe it. And it's always nice when your mom has to tell you to watch your language because you're upset about a sports game. I mean, that's pretty cool. One thing I wanted to talk about before we get to Dan Ingham, right? And we'll go to Scotty. We won't take a commercial. We'll just go right into Dan. We'll take a commercial before our buddy George Teague joins us at 10:40. The Eagles lost last night too. It's like, man, it's coming from everywhere. But they lost to the Giants and Cam Scatterbo. And like, if you haven't been paying attention, like Cam Scatterbo, like there's something happening with him in the NFL the same way it happened with him at Arizona State. And he had 98 yards last night, and he had 3 touchdowns. And there's a unique quality that a runner like Cam Scatterbo has. There's a unique quality that Cam Scatterbo has. He can do cartwheels or flips or whatever the hell. That's what that is called. Yeah, there he is. He's just showing up in my mom's kitchen. This is wonderful. We're happy to have Cam here, by the way. Don't drink all the beer. So I believe, and this is just from being around coaches and listening to coaches, there is a violence and a way that Cam Scatterbo runs that really impacts not just himself and the offense and the drive that they're working to sustain at the time, but I believe it invigorates the entire team. I mean, it is early in his career, right? And we're talking about a small sample size, but when you look back on his career, and especially his final season at Arizona State, 1,700 yards, 21 touchdowns. And that's important because the team made it to the college football playoff. Like, I think there is something to be said for when you have a bruiser, right, who is effective, has a personality, and we're not just talking about a couple yards in a cloud of dust. We're talking about, 5 yards down the field, more yards after contact, energy, excitement. And for a franchise like the New York Giants, who are dying for a shot in the arm, boom, boom, they have got it. Jackson Dart and now Cam Scatterbo, which makes the team maybe not, a formidable playoff contender, or maybe it does. But I do think, just to dive deep into the Giants coaching situation now, like I think Cam Scatterbo and Jackson Dart are going to save Brian Daboll's job. That, and also the fact that when you look at John Mara, and he's up against health issues, like he's cancer, right? And so he's getting sick. He calls the shots when it comes to hiring and firing, and his sickness could actually allow a little bit of grace for Daboll. And that's what I've been hearing and reading. I actually picked up the against my better judgment, the old New York Post today. I like to get that when I'm in town. And there's a reprieve coming for Brian Daboll, which is pretty cool. But I think that Scatterbo, along with Jackson Dart, they will give this team what they need this year to make a push into the playoffs, and also to save Brian Daboll's job. But the Scatterbo thing is the one I want to kind of emphasize in this segment, is that when you have a runner like that, it's like a guy that makes a huge hit coming down on a kickoff, or somebody who just, makes a jarring play across the middle. Like there's a ripple effect there. There's almost like a wave, and it can really help the team. And watching the Giants last night, like, it's different when a runner like Cam Scadaboo is having success. It's just more contagious. It makes everybody on the team better. And that's not the case for all other running backs. You just do amazing things, but it's different with him. And I really, really appreciate that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, one more thing. Last night, super annoying. The game, NFL, is on Amazon. The baseball is on Fox, or no, it's on Turner. By the way, lucky for us, Inside the 12, which runs on True TV, got preempted by the playoffs. Like, that's actually better than even having it on, I think. I mean, you get preempted by the Major League Baseball playoffs. You can tell people that. Like, I think that's better than actually having the whole show on. But that's just my personal opinion. I got preempted by the playoffs, man. What are you going to do? Go watch it online. So that's pretty cool. But it was annoying to go back and forth from Amazon to Fox. Luckily, here in Philly, we figured it out like too late in the third or fourth quarter that, in your local market, they air those Thursday night games on, you're like that game was on Fox. So over the air antenna Fox, which was pretty cool. So we enjoy that. As Mom, what are you doing? You never know what's going on around here. Mom? All right, she's alive. Okay, so now we're going to bring in someone who is alive and well. I'm curious to see where this guy is. Let's bring Dan Ingham now. So you're in the office.
I'm in the office, yes, sir.
What's that picture of behind you?
That would be Augusta National right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you been?
No, but I'm going for the first time this spring. So, they do the lottery deal, like where you put your name in, and after 20 years, I finally got picked. So I get to go to Augusta this year with some buddies. I can't wait. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And you know what's cool is, like, once you get there, I think everybody knows this by now, but you don't have to spend a ton of money.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I've been told, yes, that's true with the food. I've been told to bring my credit card for the merch tent. It is quite popular.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine, I was like, how much do you think you'll spend? And I said, maybe a couple $100. He's like, no, you're going to spend more than that, just so you know. So,
by the way, are you taking orders from other people before you leave?
There's a 100, like the president of the bank has already told me what he wants. So, yeah.
And there's no saying no to that.
Yes, sir.
Dan Ingham with First National Bank of Central Texas. When is the next KWTX high school football game that you'll be able to call?
Next Thursday night. There was one last night. Due to my commitments with the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo, I wasn't able to last night.
Oh, yeah, that's Dan. This is Dan in a cowboy hat time of year.
That's right. Yes, Dan. That's the official term for the season. Yes.
This is the time of year where Big Tex is quaking in his boots because there's a guy 6'8", just down 35 with a cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
How has it been out there at the Heart of Texas?
It's been really good. We've had good weather. I mean, it's been a little warm, but no rain. So we've had really good crowds. I went to the rodeo last night, big full arena. We'll have probably a sellout Saturday night for the rodeo. So it's been really good. Been really good.
Is that stuff you do through the chamber or through First National Bank?
So through First National, I'm actually on the board of directors at the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo. In fact, I'll be chairman of the board starting next year. So I'm intimately involved in that organization.
Like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah. Yes. We have much in common. Yes.
That's pretty cool. So, I mean, when you're out there at night, like, what's your shift out there? Like, what time?
Well, I don't know that I have a shift per se. It's good to be around and help out where you can. I mean, I am on a committee, so I do. There's livestock announcing, so I know my skill set, and so announcing for the kids that come into the livestock show started a couple weeks ago. So I help with that, and that's probably 5 or 6 times I do that. I know I'm not much help other than that. I can speak into a mic, and so I do that. But then, like on the rodeo nights, last night I had an easy gig. Just sat with a good customer and had a good time. So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, folks should get out to the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo. It is like that is up there with Cameron Park as two of the most underrated facets and
Isn't
aspects.
Cameron Park the best, man? It's
Yeah.
awesome. You're right.
It's the best. It's the best. But the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo is like sneaky awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
It's been going on for so long that people kind of, I don't know if take for granted, but they forget
Yeah.
that we got a big old fair and rodeo for a week and a half every year that brings in, millions of dollars in economic impact. So it's a big deal. Yeah.
And you bring the kids there, it's a kick-ass time.
100%. That's in fact we were talking because they're off today because of fall break. So they were already planning the friends they're going to invite. We're going to go out there on Saturday and have a good time. So
fall break. I mean, what are we doing here now? I mean, I don't remember fall break. Do you?
Well, in Oklahoma, they have fall break, and it's always this weekend right here. They always take the Friday before OU Texas off. That is,
of course,
priorities in Oklahoma. So it is always the weekend before OU Texas, I remember. In fact, even the high school teams in Oklahoma, most of them play on this Thursday night.
Yeah.
Because you got to get ready for the big OU Texas week. Can't be playing on Friday night because, folks want to go down to Dallas already. So
let's talk to you about that. You covered that game for years, and not so much like the X's and O's about it, but just like the pageantry that is around that game. This year, it feels kind of interesting because I think it's like not quite how we expected it. You expected Texas to come in and getting set to throttle Oklahoma, and now it's totally flipped. Right.
Interesting. UT's still favored in that game, which is interesting to me, which Vegas still likes Texas. I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of talk of whether OU's guy will be able to go or not. I find it hard. He had surgery like 2 weeks ago on his thumb. It's just hard to imagine he's going to play, but some people think he might. But have you ever been to that game before at the Cotton Bowl?
No, I have to go.
It is the best. No, I can't say I've never been to Army Navy. I've never been to Auburn, Alabama, but man, there's something pretty cool about that stadium on game day for OU Texas or Texas OU, however you want to call it. Yeah.
What do you think about, again, I always like to share with people, this is Dan Ingham, First National Bank of Central Texas, but a longtime sports guy in Central Texas at KWTX. So you're certainly qualified to weigh in on this question. I read an article in The Athletic about Arch Manning, and it said he should be synonymous with failure at this point. And it talked about it was a real douchey article to write. I mean, honestly, that's how I felt. I mean, what was funny is in the comments, there were people from Oklahoma like backing up Arch. Like, okay, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But for you who's covered this sport for so long, the Arch Manning stuff, is there an opportunity for him to pull out of this year and play well, play better? Or do you think this is one of those situations, which I don't care what your last name is, this is a mental beatdown and he might need just a break to kind of, recalculate and then get back to it next year?
I think both those scenarios could be true. The reality is, though, I mean, forget that his last name is Manning. That makes it probably harder for him, let's be honest. But the truth is, you see guys get better as the year goes on. That's not like some unheard of thing. Clearly he has ability. They wouldn't have put him in this position if he didn't. So is it crazy to think that in, a month from now, he might look a lot better? Could he go out and play a lot better against OU and get a big win and all of a sudden everybody's feeling good? Now, yes, but to be fair, nothing he's shown so far has made us think that's going to happen. But I find it hard to believe that all of a sudden he has no ability and can't compete at this level as a quarterback. So, yeah, I just don't know what to expect. The problem for him is OU's defense is really good. And he's going to be under pressure a lot because they can get to the quarterback. That's what OU's really good at. So he may not have a lot of time. So that's going to be really challenging for him. But I haven't read that article. That's tough to call it. I mean, man,
the guy was a jerk.
He's not having a great year. That's what it is.
The guy had a good point, and it's almost an interesting topic. You could actually flesh it out on a show like this. He's the first maybe ever college football flop. Maybe like Todd Marinovich could have been one. But like a guy who literally was so hyped going into college, because usually it happens, down the line, you're hyped going into the pros. Do you remember a guy, even if it's somebody who we don't remember, who was supposed to come in and make such a huge impact in college and then just disappeared?
That's a great question. I can't think of one because I'm trying to think of the kids coming out of high school. Like, I mean, Adrian Peterson, everybody said, I remember seeing him play at Palestine, I think it's where he was, and you're like, oh, that guy could play in the NFL right now.
Yeah,
and so
he's great. My fiance knew him. Yeah,
There you go. I mean, so
Yeah.
he lived up to it. I'm just trying to think of guys that didn't live up to it. I mean, that are that hyped. I can't think of any. I mean, even guys that like man, I don't even try to remember, 'cause the kid who played at Lake Travis, he's a quarterback. He's the one who came in for Colt McCoy. But either way, it doesn't matter. But then he ended up transferring to SMU and playing a few years in the NFL. So I mean, like guys that people thought were can't miss. I can't think of anybody like that offhand.
Yeah. The one guy I'm hoping does better, we've talked about it a couple of times, is the guy Micah Hudson. He's still buried in the depth chart. He was a 5-star guy, dude.
You know about that? That's right. Yeah.
5-star guy, I think, from Lake Belton. So looking forward to better days for him. Okay, your impressions of Baylor after that win. Now here they are, 4-2 in the Big 12, have won 8 of their last 9 conference games. Like, that's real, right?
Like, it's crazy that you almost have to say that out loud, because at least the people I run with are kind of negative on the team right now. And like, at the end of the day, they're 4-2. Like, I mean, like, would you rather be Oklahoma State right now? Come on. So, and I get it. Like, that was a frustrating game in a lot of ways, but they got the win.
Yeah.
Like, so, and they're still in the hunt in the Big 12. So I don't know. I don't get it. Yes. Has the defense been disappointing at times? Yes. But I don't know. They're 4-2.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I mean, I think, like, because you mentioned it, that's what sparked my thought of it with Arch. I think you could say 2 of the last 3 years prior to this year, right? This team gets better as the season goes on. So, like, you can say what you want, like, okay, Dave Aranda's team starts slow, that sucks, but they get better as the year goes on,
100%.
usually. And so if that were the case again this year, look out.
Yes.
We should be talking more about that than they didn't win at home, X, Y, and Z against Arizona State and Auburn.
Yeah, and I think what probably stings, and this is just football, by the way, those are 2 games they could have won. So in theory, they could be 6-0 right now, and you're talking about a really special season. But they didn't, and they're probably not a 6-0 team, if we're being truthful about it. They have some flaws, but are they good enough to beat every other team on their schedule this year? Heck yes, they are. Are they gonna lose a game or 2? Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that 8-4 is not what people are looking for. I get that. I 100% get that. But I don't know. It's just interesting to me. Even after the win, I saw some people at church the next day. They're like, "Oh, this team." I'm like, "All right." I mean, you want to talk about? I can show you a bad team.
Yeah, right. And it's funny too, because I think when you mention 8 winners of 8 of the last 9. I mean, that's a field goal against Arizona State. The woulda, coulda, shoulda, but you could be 9 of the last 9. And it's like, nobody talks about that.
A good an Arizona State team that, is good.
It's getting better and better. Yeah.
Yeah. And almost beat Texas in the playoff last year. Yeah.
All right, Cowboys, before we get to your pick. And by the way, I don't know if you heard this. I had to pick games with no spreads last week for Underdog. And I swear, I love you, Dan, but I didn't do this to make you feel better. I was 0-6. So there you go. Yeah, without spreads.
Wow. Without spreads.
I said, this is Mickey Mouse. How can we not use spreads? And then now look at me, right? So
how do you – come on now, Pete. We can talk about that. How do you go 0-6 with just picking straight up?
You know what the problem is? Like,
was it NFL or college?
It was NFL.
Okay, that's different.
And I was sure I was right, too.
Yeah.
I was sure I was right. Yeah. All right. Cowboys are a 3.5-point favorite. Dak Prescott's playing out of his mind. I want you a quick synopsis from you about, is he surpassing your expectations for this year? And did you think that he would find this gear again?
Good question. I don't know that I knew what to expect out of this team, because there was so much talk about, like, why is Schottenheimer the coach, and he's not even that good of an offensive coordinator. He wasn't necessarily lighting it up at other places, but I'm really impressed with Dak. It's almost like this is his team. It has been his team for a while, but I mean, the fact that he can put up the kind of yards, they can put up the kind of yards they did with, like, the entire offensive line hurt last week. I get the Jets are not that good, but they're still an NFL team,
Yeah.
And without your best offensive player, CeeDee Lamb, playing, so it's pretty fun to watch. He is playing as well just about as any quarterback in the league right now. I mean, it feels weird saying, but it's true. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but he's playing as well as anybody right now.
Yeah, he's playing his ass off. And I think that, the most important position in football, just Cowboys are not done yet. I don't think.
I agree. They're going to be in the playoff hunt because they can score so many points. Now, can they make a run unless their defense gets better? No. I mean, you have to have some defense to make it to a Super Bowl, but they could be a playoff team 100%.
By the way, I like this with you on your Zoom. This is good. I feel
that's right, man. I just sit in the office and close the door, and there we go.
We might stick with this with you. We'll make your life easier.
It's all good.
Yeah, you got because everybody has their own setup where they can do their lighting and stuff. And now you look like $1 million bucks.
I'll work on the lighting issue because I've got the glare coming in from. I got to work on that a little bit. So yeah.
You have the AT&T Stadium glare. I told you I went to the Eagles game there last year. Paid $400 for tickets, and I'm sitting in the end zone, and I couldn't see 20 minutes of the goddamn game because it's right in my.
Isn't it insane how much it costs to go to an NFL game too? I mean, we sound like a bunch of old guys here right now, but my kids want to go, and I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Take them to the Oklahoma State Cowboys and tell them it was Dallas.
Oh, it's rough.
Too old and too smart now. All right, so let's get into your pick of the week. If nothing else, Scotty's done a tremendous job with the graphics. So
well, and I think I got my first W last week. Finally.
Oh, okay.
I got on the board.
Really? Okay, Scotty, can you refresh our memory?
It was. Oh, here comes someone.
Dan got his first W last week. He had Arizona with the points over Oklahoma State, which they covered easily.
I'm sorry, that was easy money. I hate saying that about my alma mater, but it was easy money.
There you go.
Going on the road. I didn't realize Arizona had like 10,000 people in the stands too, but that's another story. I didn't realize how little support they had sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that goes to somebody that knows a lot about football told me that the scary thing about Dave Aranda, and this could apply to Brett Brennan too, that fan base not being excited. You could point to the coaches in some respects. If there was somebody with a little more juice, you'd see a little more support. I don't agree with that because I think it's about football, but it's an interesting perspective. All right, who you got this week?
All right, so I'm staying in the Big 12. Kansas State, they have lost 4 games by 1 score or less. Or by 1 score. They've lost 4, so they've had a really rough year.
Yeah, no,
I like that. I like K-State plus 1.5. K-State plus 1.5. They're at home. They're going to bounce back. TCU's looking ahead to that big game with Baylor. I like K-State at home getting 1.5.
Dude, I hate to jinx you, but I like it too. And I actually will bet on this game.
You saw them last week. So I mean, they're not bad. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really like that pick because I called that game last week.
I know. I was watching it with my wife, and she goes, "That Pete?" I was like, "Yes, it is." So yes.
How'd we do?
Yeah, you did great, man. You're good. Your partner. Remind me of his name.
Lige Duzable.
That's right. He doesn't need to hear this from me, but I've watched. He has gotten steadily better at that job. Not that he was bad, but it's fun to watch someone get better and really step it. Add insight to that position, which is important. Someone who, when they say something, it adds to the broadcast.
Yeah, he's good.
You guys do a good job.
Better. Yeah. All right. So Kansas State, I like that. They're a dangerous team. I'm in with that pick. Let's keep doing it like this with Zoom. I feel like it's easier for you.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of nice. Yeah. And I'll clean up the system in here. So we'll get a little better lighting. Yeah.
All right. So next Thursday, we're gonna Zoom in with you. First National Bank of Central Texas. Thank you guys so much for doing what you do for us. And seriously, thanks for being, giving a personal touch to the folks and your customers over there.
No problem. Happy to do it. Safe
All right, Dan Ingham. We'll see you next Thursday. There he goes. We'll take a quick break because we got George Teague waiting in the wings, and we don't make George Teague wait long. So let's do a quick break, Scotty, maybe 1 or 2 breaks, and then we'll come back with the great George Teague talking about Cowboys football. I feel like we're in the middle of a little bit of a resurrection. Maybe George can throw some water on it. We'll be right back after this. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
What if you could clean clean? With bio-based formulas and deep cleaning enzymes. No dyes, phthalates, or mystery ingredients. Just powerful pods for your dishes and laundry. Now you can, with drops made clean, made to clean.
Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, for true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kit Bag.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home, homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Mullybox.com. That's M-U.
All right, it's the Pete Sousa Show. We're back. We love cutting off Mike Hamilton and those boring-ass ads. Let's bring in George Teague right now. The guy's a legend at Alabama, legend in Dallas, still doing work for the Cowboys, pre- and post-game stuff. You can actually catch him right on Cowboys.com, which is pretty cool. And that also is a good sign, George. That means you're still a part of the family, which is pretty cool because, truthfully, I think it says a lot about the Cowboys. Like, how has your relationship come back to the Cowboys? Like, how did you end up doing the stuff you're doing with them now as far as analysis is concerned?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it all just kind of fell in my lap a little bit. You know, I had actually got cold called by a guy and just asked if I really wanted to do it, being an analyst, kind of based upon, you know, I guess just doing interviews, you know, and speaking, you know, being a high school football coach and I'm still being on television a little bit. The guy just said, "Hey, man, we got a spot for you. Would you want to give it a whirl?" And I was nervous about it because I'm like, well, I hadn't actually done that before. And he's like, "I just think you would be good. Come on out and try it." So here I am 3-4 years later, you know, doing analyst work for the Cowboys and for CBS.
Well, it's a little more enjoyable this year. Yeah, and you mentioned you are doing work for CBS too. But it's a little bit more enjoyable this year because I feel like Cowboys are on a bit of an uptick. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but, you know, you're 2-1. You're going to be your favorite against Carolina. And a lot of the success, I want to ask you really what you think the main reason is. But I looked at Dak Prescott and I think, man, it's really cool to see a guy like that we all root for playing so well again. So the question I want to ask you is, like, what is it about him this year that has allowed him to kind of rediscover that gear of greatness and be back or moving himself back towards that MVP conversation?
Well, Pete, system matters, I guess. And he is comfortable. He is very in tune to what's going on with with Schottenheimer, Brian. And I led him to be rejuvenated and more successful here. He's had great coaches around him, but just the system that they'll be able to use that given him more opportunities to go underneath the center, more play action, really have established a run, which we hadn't had in a couple of years. That's benefiting Dak very well. So I think if they stay on this trend and allow Dak to understand all the calls, all the checks, he's a pro. They always know that, right? But it's just different when you're totally in line with your head coach.
So, and that's interesting because the last thing I think a lot of people in my shoes who don't know the team like you do, right? Especially somebody like you who's been in the locker rooms, like, you know, Schottenheimer, I was like, oh, that's cool because I always respected his dad and I knew he'd been doing it for a while. But it was underwhelming for a lot of people. It's starting to look like, I mean, I think home run is a stretch, but it's starting to look like a real good hire.
Yeah, and I would be with you. I was kind of optimistic. I mean, not so optimistic in the beginning. Hey, not having any head coaching experience. He's coached for 28, 30, how many every years, and never even really had a shot. This kind of thing. So we're going, all right, is he really the guy? But then once you actually got in the locker room, and this is what's kind of I think drew me to him a little bit more as a fan and as a former player, that I actually got to sit in on the team meeting. And I guess got to saw how they started, how he interacted with it, how he was bringing competition back. Silly little games, but he always got them into trying to win. Not just being status quo and developing a team atmosphere. I feel like the Cowboys haven't had that togetherness. So he's really driving that. It's simple. We're talking about the word culture with someone else. He's developing a culture of winning and wanting to compete, and I think that's turning over into the game. You see it when we got so many guys hurt. We're still playing pretty well.
Now, for people you don't know, you didn't play for Marty Schottenheimer, but you played against him, and like you obviously were in circles where you had probably had buddies who played for him. Like he was like, he's a Hall of Fame coach, right? Like, so what did you hear about him that you kind of notice in his son?
The guys are going to be disciplined, and they're always going to work hard. It didn't matter who they had or what they were doing. It seemed like they were always fast, sharp, just on point. A lot of times you can have talented guys, but they're not doing the right things. I think that happened with Marty when you're watching him coach. They have to try to cover these wide receivers and where they were going. It was very difficult. They didn't seem like very flashy guys, but it was hard to cover them. You see that with our offense now. I'm sure he's taking a page out of his dad's playbook. The way he's utilizing, not even having CD, right? He's using Pickens and finding the matchups to put him in the best position. I watched her play against the Jets where they actually did some motions and made some things. It was a thing of beauty, man. And it was all scheme, where they put him, and then you have the quarterback. Dak just dropped the ball in over three guys. It was unbelievable, man. I was just in awe as a player. Like, now what would I do? How would we defend that? And you can't, so that was purely coaching.
That's a good sign when he has a guy like you asking questions like that, right? I mean, they're doing something right.
That's right.
What about that Jets game? I felt like the Cowboys, their fan base, I feel like everybody really needed that, just to go into an opposing city and just beat down a team. I mean, I felt like for the esteem of the team, I mean, that's got to feel good. Were you ever in a situation like that where the team was kind of, lukewarm, and then you got to beat somebody's ass and you felt, okay, like this is it, and you were able to kind of grow from that game?
Yeah, and I'm going to admit first that people here in Dallas were very worried about losing to the Jets. You lose to an 0-4 Jets, even no matter how good you think they are, it was super important. You have someone like Justin Fields, running the ball, and we haven't been good at that. So, man, I was terrified. I got to tell you, it did make me think of games where you couldn't get past the hump. In Green Bay, man, we could never beat Dallas. And I ended up playing for them, but we could never beat them. It was like, oh God, why we got to play these guys again?
Yeah.
This kind of thing. Even with backup quarterbacks, Jason Garrett ended up scoring 40 points on us or whatever. So it's deflating, when you lose games that you think you're supposed to win for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So, for them to go up to New York, play the way they did, actually get pressure on their quarterback, not letting him run around, and not giving up the deep balls all the time like they were before. It was just a big sign of, hey, we could be onto something good here.
Looking at this game against Carolina and you being a defensive guy, what would be your message in the locker room to the Cowboys as they get set to take on the Carolina Panthers in a game, again, where they're favored by 3.5 points? Not like that would affect the message, but they are favored in this game.
Don't slip on Carolina and being away again. You still got to go play in someone else's home. Those are always hard. Also, don't get comfortable just because now the fan base is kind of, woo, hey, they're going to turn on you. You lose to Carolina, see what's going to happen on Monday morning, right after the game. Is you can't go in and just start thinking that I've arrived. You got to start stacking games on top of one another. So you beat a team that hasn't won one. Now you got another team that's, decent, but still you're worried about Bryce Young. What is he going to do? How is he going to do things? You got a running back in Rico Dowdle, who the revenge game is something you have to account for, right? He just rushed for how many? I don't know, almost 200 yards or whatever it was. Do you think he don't want to do that against the Cowboys after you let him go? You don't give him a chance. So you better come ready to play, because you don't want to be on the Angry Run segment of somebody's TV show. So it's still business, and that's the thing. It's still business. You still got to have guys hurt. Secondary has to show up, but the line going to have to be on point.
When you talk about, the Cowboys defense, Trayvon Diggs, Bland, Hooker, Wilson, like they got swagger, right? They got some dudes. And I'm curious what you think stands out to you about how they are playing, how that unit is playing.
I think that there's been a constant improvement. So I don't want it to be like totally negative on it, just because in the beginning it felt like technically we weren't sound in the secondary. We have a lot of talent. Those guys, man, they can cover. Just think about how many interceptions they've had over the past couple of years, right? But there's been some things that they haven't been on the same page for whatever reason. And you had the injuries, Trayvon trying to come back, Bland coming back, and you had Elam out there who wasn't playing that well. But I think that Schottenheimer got to him to start talking about, hey, we got to do all this together. The linemen have to be better. So they figured out a way to get some pressure to allow those guys to play the way they need to play. So overall, I still don't have them. I got them as an average grade. I think I need to see it some more, because they're going to play some pretty good teams here in the second half of the season with some very talented wide receivers. I just feel like if we can stay together and really figure out what Eberflus is trying to do with his own coverages and figure out how to read and play the right leverage, we'll be okay.
When you get that cold call, right, and they say, all right, we want you to be an analyst, right? How does that affect the way that you watch these games now? Because I love when I get a guy like you saying, grade. Now I'm thinking film. Now I'm thinking you're really watching these guys, right? Like you're not just passively watching. How do you watch this team? Like, what's your perspective? And how do you come up with a grade on an offense or a defense or a player?
Man, you know what? It messes me up trying to watch the game now as an analyst, because I just can't watch it just for fun. I used to like to go to the Cowboys game, eat my popcorn, my beer, maybe say something about the scheme that I thought I saw from watching the game. But now it's like, man, I'm going to have to talk about that play. What really happened? Can I rewind that back? Now I am diving into film and really trying to find out what's happening with that, and trying to call people to find out, hey, do I have this right in what I'm thinking? So it becomes more intense, as far as film study, knowing I'm about to come on your show and different things and say, hey, what can I bring to someone else about finer details? Fans, we just talk about, man, he got burnt, he got ran over, he got trucked. Well, I need to know why now. Well, why is Dak being so successful? What is really happening? And when you start to go look at it, you can see it, or you start talking to people and they go, hey, you don't know what he really did at practice today, or what coach did for them. So it's hard. It's still fun for me. I'm still a fan of football. I try to watch the Alabama games, the Cowboy games, and just try to be a fan. But ultimately, I'm going to dive right back into the film and be like, yeah, I don't know what y'all talking about, because I actually watched this thing over and over and over again. And that wasn't cover two. That was something else, So I enjoy it, though. I do love it, man. Hats off to you for what you do and how you do it, man. It's not easy, but I love being an analyst.
Yeah, man. I got a couple more for you. I want to watch one more about the Cowboys and then a little bit about your career, because you were one of my guys growing up. You actually weren't one of my guys. You hurt my Hurricanes. So we'll talk about that in a second. I was a huge Miami guy. So when they get CeeDee Lamb back, okay, and if the Cowboys are able to stay healthy, how good can this team be?
Oh, it's going to be – they're going to be lights out, honestly. I felt that way before I even saw how good George Pickens could be by himself. But now I think Pickens has actually proved that, hey, I can be a number one guy. If you're sitting with two number one guys out here, and they can try to scheme up where they're matching. It's not even talking about Jake Ferguson, who's doing his thing, 10, 11 catches a game.
Yeah.
Come on, man. And Javonte Williams running the ball the way he's running. This is an offense that you're going to be like, and they don't even have all the starting offensive linemen in there. Give me a break. We should be able to score 40 points a game. And that's going to allow the defense to pin their ears back and do some really good things. So I think the conversation changes to where we didn't really think, could they win the division? I think you can. You see the Eagles lose, the the Giants are kind of whatever. Jaden Daniels hurt with the Commanders. Man, you might see the Cowboys sitting back on top again, and popping it in the playoffs. Where a lot of us weren't really feeling that, early on.
Dude, you bring up a great point, which I think we forget about because it's kind of basic. The better your offense does, the better your defense does. I mean, it's just like they're not on the field as long. Now they're able to attack because they have a lead. Like, it really changes things up a great deal.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I loved it as a defensive back when I knew that now our guys are going to get the front seven, the linemen, they're playing differently. Yeah, you still got to stop the run, all the stuff that, the normal cliches that you hear. But when you got some points and they got to go hurry up or try to throw the ball to be a little bit more aggressive. Now those D linemen get excited, man. Them linebackers start getting excited. Now I get excited because, the ball's got to come out quick. I get a jump. I get to make some kind of, take a gamble, or a risky play. It comes so much more fun. And then you start winning games in a different way.
In your career and your evolution as a player, what did Gene Stallings mean to you at Alabama? I thought it was, for me growing up as a kid, like, I knew Alabama had that amazing tradition with Bear Bryant, but it had kind of gone dormant for a little bit. And then you guys brought it back, man, big time. Like, what was Coach Stallings and his role in that? Because he's a special dude.
Yeah, he was big in it, and he was a very personable coach. You're talking about a player's coach. He was that for me. He talked to me a lot about the NFL and doing those things, but more importantly, he talked to me about my high school girlfriend, who is now my wife. He talked to me about my mom and my dad and family and all these things. He had his family around a lot. John Mark, his son being involved. So it was also about family, and I think that led to the family in the locker room. So that kind of goes into what I'm saying about Schottenhauer in that sense that, hey, you're pulling everybody together, and then we started playing for each other, and it became lights out.
Dude, that United Way commercial with his son was, to me, one of the best. Like, I don't even want to call it marketing because it was like they were just doing the right thing, but it grabbed me like never before, because you see somebody like Gene Stallings and you're like, oh, wait, that's affecting him too. Yes. And how is he dealing with it? And the kid was always around. That was beautiful, like emotional stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. And I'll give a selfish plug for some friends of ours. There's this documentary just coming out. It's called Do Right by Gene Stallings, and it's really talking about his kid in Alabama and the travel of how Coach Stallings has affected so many people through his RISE program, where he's helping kids with cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, those type of things. So it's pretty cool to be able to see, and you really learn a lot more about Gene Stallings.
Dude, that's so he that's just coming out?
Yes. So I actually, and the reason why I know, because I was interviewed to be in part of it and talk about those things, and it's pretty touching. But it's also motivating because there's a lot. You might not like it because there's a lot of Alabama football in it.
No, I like it. Come on now, I like
it. But it does get into the roots of the family and how he's really impacted people off the field. So it's, it's telling a story through his coaching career, being at A&M, being in the pros, and, ultimately getting to Alabama. So it's called Do Right. Just be on the lookout for it. And
he was another one of those guys like to talk about football, like, amazing college coach, not so great in the pros, but then he realizes, okay, let me come back to college and dominate. You know what I mean? Like, because we see these guys go up and down. Like we're talking about Belichick more now than ever. And it's just like, it's almost like two different sports. Is it not?
Oh, it's totally different. You can't compare the two. You can't treat people the same way. I learned that when I was looking to be at a professional level coach. And I once I had a shot at it and I was actually in the locker room, I was like, man, this is different. These are grown men. You can't motivate them the same. It's really more about money, regardless of whatever we want to say about NIL and all this kind of stuff. But the games are just different. So you shouldn't expect that you can do the exact same thing on the collegiate level that you can on the pros.
All right. So that Sugar Bowl, like when you guys make it to the mountaintop, walk me through like that emotion, that game, and winning that game, because it was really special. I mean, it was a crown, it was a feather in your cap and Coach Stallings' cap, but like to me, again, it was Alabama being Alabama again, and it's almost like the program's really never looked back.
Yeah, I think we started something pretty big, and knowing that, hey, you got to have the right coach and the right players there. Playing in a national championship game, I can't even really put into words what that actually feels like. It's there. And at that time, you're the only game on TV. The only people, they're only watching Alabama and Miami, millions of people just watching this thing. It's on the line for one game. And as a player, that is like the pinnacle thing of just, man, we've made it. Now what? We've had a whole month to try to prepare for one team and one game, and let alone they're saying, Alabama, you can't win. This is the Hurricanes. They got all these dudes and all this kind of stuff. And you're like, golly, man, we worked so hard to get here. We go through an SEC championship. Most people don't even remember that was the first year of the SEC championship. We barely got past Florida to get in. So, it's just amazing type of atmosphere. I ran out of my shoe on the very first play. Y'all go watch it. You can see I was just I don't even know why it came off. It's never ever happened before. I think I was just mad crazy to even be here and just to hear the crowd. So I'll never forget it though, man. It was so much fun. New Orleans, just national championship against the Hurricanes with all their dudes, Gino Torretta, Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar, Thomas and Horace Copeland and the running back. I mean, it was just
Evan Williams. They had all those guys. Steve McGuire. They were everywhere, dude.
Yes. So it was a big one.
All right, last question for you. I can't let you out of here without asking you about this because, again, I'm from Philly. I grew up an Eagles guy, but at the same time, I respect the Cowboys. I have, and I thought in the fall of 2000. And I'm going to ask you when T.O. takes that look, man. I don't know. You could tell me. You probably never have to buy a drink in Dallas for the rest of your life. I mean, so when he takes that he goes to the middle of the field, like, can you tell me like the sequence of events leading up to that and what ended up with you doing something that was one of the more celebrated moves in franchise history, even though it's like the last thing you think?
Yeah, man. Games get heated, right? I think you see people talk. You just saw last night where people were kind of taunting each other, whatever. Well, they're probably more taunting back in the day when we played, and T.O. was very well known to be able to taunt some guys, and he and I have had a few words throughout the game, and they were just wobbling up on us, kicking our butts. I tend to blame this on two people on why I actually got kicked out. One is Darren Woodson because he got kicked out early. He tossed his helmet. He got frustrated or whatever. Then I didn't have my twin safety in there. And the second person I blame is my brother because he got kicked out of the game at the same time I did. But that'll be for another story when we come on, right? So there's all kind of emotions going on. And then once he runs out to the field the first time, he just kind of – it's in the middle of the star. You're just like – you really just kind of go like, wow, they really just do that? You kind of like, okay, I got it. That's a good one, man. You know, you thought about that a little bit, executed it very well. But again, as we were talking noise and we started fighting a little bit, literally, scrapping a little bit on certain plays, I started watching him like, okay, he's about to score again. What is he going to do, Pete? What is he going to do? And as soon as he started taking off, I lost it, brother. I just went and we were about to put the rest to all of this stuff that we've been doing all game. And so I chased him out to the field and saying what was going through, man. I was just ready to fight. We finna scrap right now. I forgot that Pete was watching. I forgot that my mama was watching. I forgot that my wife was watching and everybody else. And we were just gonna get it on. It ended up costing me about $25,000 and I got ejected out of the game. But you know, thankfully I've been known for something that has resonated in a positive way, you know, of defending your house and your turf and sticking up for things that shouldn't happen at your home.
It was the right thing to do. It was. And I think people everywhere, like I remember watching it being like, man, that's from then on, like, you know, you were an awesome player, but personally, I didn't have any like, oh, George Teague. Now I was like, George Teague, that's my man. Like that's a special thing to do. And you know, it's cool. And it's really cool to talk to you now, man. I look forward to seeing more of your work. Where can people find you? So like after the game on Sunday, like what's the natural rhythm for you? And then being an analyst for CBS as well.
Yeah, appreciate it very much. So, and thank you for having me on.
Yeah.
So 3 ways, a couple different ways you can find me. You can find me on Teague's Take Podcast on YouTube. On Monday night, we shoot live. We actually talk about Alabama and we show film. We break down the film and can give you a replay of it, what you're talking about, analyzing what really happened in those
Teague's
plays.
Take.
Teague's Take.
Okay.
Teague's Take Podcast. All right. Second thing, if you're in the area, analysts on Sunday mornings, 10:30 Central Time, live television when we're breaking down the Cowboys before the game all the time. So on CBS Channel 11, 10:30 Central to 11. And then post game on Mondays is when I'm on DallasCowboys.com and on FanDuel with Cowboys Flashback. So now we're showing film again, and I'm breaking down plays to try to give you highlights or concerns that we have. So 3 ways: Sundays, Mondays, twice.
You keep my boy Kyle Yeomans in line over there?
Oh yeah, man. Kyle is the man, man. He's good. I'm glad he actually helps me and gives me insight and all that kind of stuff. So I make sure I told him I'll talk to you, brother.
Yeah, tell him I said hello, and man, God bless that dude. First baby.
That's right.
There were 3 of them.
That's right. That's crazy.
That's a lot, man. All right, George Teague, thank you so much for the visit, man. It's really cool to talk to you.
All right. I'll talk to you later, brother.
You got it. See you, George. There he goes, George Teague. It's really cool to have a guy like that has an impact on you kind of for the better part of your life growing up. And it's positive, right? And I think for me, it culminated in that episode with T.O. I mean, I always knew he was a really good player, but I didn't know he was that kind of guy. And yeah, look, man, I'm from Philadelphia. T.O. brought us some good fortune here, but woo, I don't know, man. Little T.O. is one of those guys. I know he wanted to win so badly, right? But T.O. is one of those guys. It's like if he gets 13 catches and 2 touchdowns and his team loses, like he just might be feeling better than if he has 2 catches and the team wins. I worry about dudes like that. I just do. The Pete Sousa Show, we're going to come back with Scotty Swingler because I just want to talk to Scotty about some stuff. And then we're going to wrap it up. I got one highlight. I want to show you something pretty cool from over the weekend that continues to live on today. And thank you to Slovacics. And thank you to Chris Visser, our boy. He's over. Scotty and I are crossing our fingers. He makes it back okay. He goes to London. He just takes these trips to London. I don't know what, I mean, I'm just getting to know Chris. We got this great relationship, and now he just goes to London for like the weekend. You know, I try to stay out of people's personal business, but it's interesting, you know? There was one more thing I wanted to share with you guys before we went to break. I'll think of it when I come back. Oh yeah, my mom wants me to just hold this up, right? Because this is our boy. This is it, dude. Right? See that, Scotty? That's the Pope. Do you guys know my mom knows the Pope? Do you know my mom plays Words with Friends with the Pope? Mom, that's right? She just said what? Yes, just say yes. Yes, because it's true. Are you playing Words with Friends with him right now? Okay, she says she's playing with him right. Are you serious? Do you want to? Can you come in here and tell us how he's doing? Come on, come on in here. Hold on, this is important. So my mom is right now coming into the kitchen of her house. Hey, drop the piano. And she's going to show us. Again, we're talking about the Pope. If you guys didn't see, I got a jersey where I got Pope Leo on the back. Mom, come on in. So this is our Words with Friends update with the great Terry Sousa. Mom, come on. You look great today. Scotty, check it out.
This is the one that I just did with him.
So you just did. So literally, this is the.
Can you see it?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah. Can I see what it says?
Now see up at the top.
Robert P. That's him.
That's
Robert Prevost. You guys see it? Robert P. See it? How about that? Did you beat his ass?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's coming, though.
Well, should the score up top.
The score is Mom's got 356. Pope Leo has 316. So.
But that's unusual. He beats me.
How about that?
But sometimes I win.
If the Pope was single, would you date him?
No, he's very short.
Not my type. Everybody's got a type, right? All right, we'll be back after this. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovaceks.
It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
Experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again.
BosleyMD.com.
Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress, that helps you calm down and feel better. You sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Dive into adventure with Scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust Scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at Scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at FullwellFertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at GEVI.com to discover more.
It's the Pete Sousa Show.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at sarn.com.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Sousa to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Sousa. That's S-O-U-S-A. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Welcome back, Pete Sousa's show. Hey, you know we love Underdog, and I made some picks a couple days ago. I usually make my picks for college football weekend on Wednesdays and then give you a few days to make them with me. Now, I will tell you, we need to make a modification to my picks, but it's going to be very simple, okay? So here's the deal. This is what I picked. First of all, Haynes King, higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. This guy is a machine on the ground. The most unstoppable runner in college football this year now that Cam Scatteraboo has made the jump to the NFL. Haynes King, you can book that one. Best game of the weekend, you heard me rant about it yesterday. Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza going at it in Eugene. I've got Dante Moore higher than 2.5 passing touchdowns. Fernando Mendoza higher than 1.5. Listen, both these guys are in the top of the Heisman race right now. They are projected to be the first 2 quarterbacks off the board in the NFL draft this spring. And both of them have only failed to meet these marks once each this season. I think that's a good play. Now, Sam Levitt was my other pick. He is doubtful for tomorrow night's tilt against Utah. So you could just play these first 3 if you wanted, take the flex pick or the insurance, and then if you get 2 out of the 3, you win money. And if you get 3 out of 3, you win even more money. So again, if you use that promo code Sousa, Underdog will give you $50 in bonus funds when you play your first 5. That's 10x your money just to play with and follow college football with. And speaking of college football, I want to make sure we get to this before we get back to the guy who the show is named after. He was featured in an EA Sports tweet this week. Check this out.
Robertson. Trick! Get out of here! No, he didn't! Yes, he did!
By the way, Pete, what a call. What a call by you. Outstanding work. I had a coffee yesterday. I'll keep him anonymous for now. I had a coffee yesterday with someone who we both know who supports the show, and he was popping off. Why the hell isn't ESPN paying Pete to do the biggest primetime games? Oh my gosh. Baylor, Kansas State, he was amazing. I'm not blowing smoke. He really sells me all this.
Who said this?
One of our boys. I'll tell you later. But well done on the call. That was the official EA Sports College Football 26 account using your call and Michael Trigg's big catch as a promotion for the video game. Dude, that's got to feel cool. Have they called you yet about providing the play-by-play for the game next season?
No, that's what I said. One of the things I said first and foremost was that Chris Fowler and Reese Davis are obviously safe. There's no chance.
No. We need to get you Fowler. Listen, I've told you Fowler might be one of my favorites of all time. He might be on my Mount Rushmore, but it's time, Pete. I think subbing Pete Sousa for Chris Fowler makes sense. In this
right.
case.
Chris is like so hardcore. He's very serious in like the best way possible. He knows how to have fun, but he also is very like, he's got like that journalism side to him where I wouldn't ever screw around in a booth with him. I don't think.
Well, again, you're not with him in the booth. You're going to take his place and be with Kirk Herbstreit or whoever. David Pollack, who we had on the show, still does voice for that college football video.
We're going to ask him the next time.
He's one of the analysts. So, yes, that's it. Let's connect you with Pollack. And then they need to separate Palmer and Pollock. So we'll have 3 booths. This is brilliant, Pete. This is make me a manager here. Here's how it's going to work. 3 booths in the video game next year. The Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit booth, the Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer booth, and then we need the booth with Pete Sousa and David Pollock. You guys already have great chemistry. You both know how to talk ball. I think that's a winning strategy there for EA Sports College Football 27.
I get one caveat. I get to take Michael Trigg with me wherever I go because that guy can make anybody look good, dude.
I don't think that's how the video game works, but we could ask. I mean, we could ask. It could be like a power up.
Michael
Every time
Trigg
Sousa's in the booth, you get one play with Michael Trigg. I don't know.
Michael Trigg is to thank for that because that call was literally like so genuine because he had made 3 or 4 of those type plays earlier in the game. And it was like, what is this dude going to do next? And there it was, and it was like, and then he had another huge catch after that. So I'm super interested to see like where he goes, what his ascension is like. And yeah, I'm trying to think. There was something else. Oh yeah. The one thing though, Scotty, you try to act like, oh yeah, it's all kumbaya. Pete's my man. Let's be real. You were listening to John Morris, dude. Well, I mean, you were listening to John Morris. And by the way, I love J-Mo. When those games get close, I mean, it sounds like they're like a fire started in there. Everybody's going crazy, like which I
so.
But I mean,
I thought I'd share this with you, Pete. I thought I'd share this with you, but I'll share it with our audience. I was listening to John Morris. And you have to understand and we are boys, by the way, and it is kumbaya, so shut up. Yeah. But here's the thing with John Morris, man. It's a nostalgia thing for me. I grew up in Waco, grew up in a Baylor family. I have never known life without John Morris calling Baylor football for radio. And so it just takes me to that happy childhood place, man. So that was part of it. And here's the other part of it, Pete. You're just talking about it sounds like a fire drill in there when something happens. That's why I love it, man. You are, this is what I told you Monday. You are the consummate professional who's going to keep it down the middle, objective, ESPN. You don't have a rooting interest when you're calling these games. Screw that. I want the guy who's going to celebrate with me when Baylor makes the play. And you know what? Did you listen to John Morris's call and Nick Flores on the blocked field goal?
And honestly,
it's exactly what I wanted to hear, man.
When I went back and watch that call, I was like, God damn it. Like to me, I had an amazing call. That was the best I've ever felt after a game. But
you did great, buddy.
I blew the block kick. And do you want to hear like a little inside baseball? So
yeah.
So this is actually great because the guy who spots for me, Matt Davis, is literally one of my best friends in the world. We've known each other forever. He's a football guy. He played football at Richmond. He was one of the best tight ends in Washington, D.C. Before he got to Richmond. He got offers he tells a story. John Cooper offered him a scholarship, George Perlis at Michigan State. Who else was it? Mark Duffner at Maryland. There were a bunch of other really big schools. Because I think D.C., he was a little overrated because he was from D.C., but whatever. So he kind of bungles his whole recruiting thing, and he's telling these schools he's not sure. And the music stops and there's like 2 chairs left for Matt. And it's either Wake Forest or Richmond. So he goes to Richmond. So he's just an amazing guy too. So he's been spotting for me for the past 3 years. And because what happened was I had a game in Kentucky once and a guy showed up who had no idea what he was doing. And I had to ask him just to go to the back of the room so he wouldn't mess me up, which by the way has happened to me before as a spotter. Like there's no judgment on this, but you don't want somebody that's bad at that job anywhere near you during a game. So the last play, Cooper lands, right? Well, so it's a huge play. We're setting it up, right? The kick, boom, right? It's obviously blocked. I see that Caden Jenkins dives on it right away. Now, at this moment in time, getting the blocked field goal, like whoever blocked it, is crucial, but you cannot get it wrong. So I'm looking at Matt, who's right next to me. I'm like, dude, and I am like, I don't really freak out, but I wanted to get through to him how important it was. I'm like, what? Like, who blocked it? And so he looks at me and he does this number. He points at Jackie Marshall, right? Taps him a little bit. And I look at him and I take off the headset. I'm like, Are you bleeping sure? And he gives me one of these, like the kids, like with the 6, 7. He's like, I'm like, oh my God. So then I click back. I hit the talk back button to the people in the truck. I'm like, we don't know who blocked it. Like, we have no idea who blocked it. Like, who blocked it? And Jacob, the producer, was like, we got Cooper Lands. We got Cooper Lands. And then I was like, we're hearing it's Cooper Lands. Like, let's get another look. And it was Cooper Lands. Now, I give Matt credit as a spotter in that. Like, when he pointed to Jackie Marshall, which was a dipshit thing to do, but I asked him, are you sure? Like, are you sure? And he said, I'm not sure. The fatal flaw for a spotter in a moment like that, you can panic and say, I'm sure. Like, I've done it. And then you're wrong. Now, if we get that wrong, okay. It's like, I'm not getting fired. Matt's not getting fired. It happens. But you don't want to get that wrong. You just don't. I'm pretty laid back. That was a moment where I was not, and I think it got through to him. And yeah, it was hilarious though. But that's any young broadcaster that's watching this. One thing I would reiterate, like in a moment like that, like you feel like you have to rush to get who the guy is, and you actually don't. The kick was blocked. They'll show a replay. You will get it right. It's awesome if you can get the guy off the top, and if you have a spotter who's better than Matt Davis who can figure it out, that's tremendous too. That wasn't in the cards for me, but we figured it out. So that's fun. All right, Scotty, let's get back to you for one last thing. Any big plans for you this weekend? This is a week off. Scott, this is Scotty's bye week. Anything special happening?
Man, I'm going to tell you the truth, Pete. I had an opportunity. One of my very good friends from Baylor is a drummer for a pretty notable band out of Nashville. They're in Dallas tomorrow. I had an opportunity to go see him and hang out with the band.
What's the band called?
They're called Kane. They've had a couple of number ones on like Christian radio. They're great. Trio of two sisters and a brother who like kind of country meets gospel stuff. It's pretty good. But he was a great drummer when we were friends at Baylor. Now he's their drummer and their road manager. So, but I'm not going to make it. And then I was going to go to Austin.
Why? Marigold stuff?
Well, I'm talking you through it now. You asked, let me talk you through it here. Okay. So that was an opportunity. Then I had one of my best friends in Austin. They just had their second kiddo. They invited me down for dinner and to hang out and just have a night away. I was leaning towards that. You know what I decided this morning, Pete? I'm going to stay home. I'm going to sleep a lot, and I'm going to watch this Oregon-Indiana game. And those are my only commitments. I am going to do nothing because as much as I love my humans, you know what I have not had this fall? Sleep. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? Hang out with Marigold. Yes. Watch Oregon, Indiana, and sleep.
Now, okay, we are a spiritual program here on the Pete Sousa Show. We don't care what your spirituality is, as long as it's a religion or movement that is moves towards loving people, making the world better. Will you go to church on Sunday?
I will.
That's an absolute. Okay, good. That's my big thing. Because if I ever take a week like you're talking about, where it's like me and Murph we used to call it Carmelo because it was just an ISO night. I'm going mellow tonight, just ISO.
Yep, that's good.
You can't isolate for too long, so you got to go to church or something the next day.
A little personal moment of vulnerability in front of 10,000 people here. I needed to hear that because I have the same tendency. I'll stay by myself for too long, but you're right. I need to be in church Sunday. I intend to be in church Sunday. That is an important part of my my positivity and growth as well. So thank you.
There you go. We got it.
Heck yeah, bro.
Great job, Scotty. All right, Monday, we're going to have a huge guest to the point where I am going to have to rearrange some things, I think, to get
Tell your mom.
Yeah.
Scotty loves her.
Mom, Scotty loves you. Thank you, Scotty. That's what she said. All right, yeah. We honestly have a huge guest Monday. It's going to be super awesome. And I'm actually, I was planning on coming back to Texas on Monday morning, but I think I'm going to come back Sunday night so we can make sure we have all our ducks in a row and I can be in Waco for that interview. All right. So we will see you on Monday. make sure you like and subscribe. Go back and watch all the videos. We've got like damn near 13,000 views on that Ty Detmer interview. People are loving it, and people are watching the whole damn thing, which is always good financially. So yeah, I mean, go there. Check out all our old videos. The podcast version is up now all the time. So like, make sure you can take us with you, whatever, but download that, like that. And you can watch Inside the 12. That is actually, hold on. So you want me to do a show for 90 minutes, but you call me in the middle of the show within the 90 minutes. Huh? I was seeing if you're going to answer. I'm answering right now. Can I call you right back? I mean, I'm wrapping up the show.
You call me right back. Quick question for you.
Corey Dickman, that's our boss, folks. Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. Do a 90-minute show, but I'm going to call you in the middle of the show. Anyways, like and subscribe. We thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Have a great weekend. Slovacics, thank you very much. We'll see you guys.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level when we shut down to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning. So we love Extraco.
Show. Sports.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Show. Sports.
Our professionals are not only experts in managing urgent concerns, but also in providing top-notch preventative health care. We're proud to connect pet owners to a vast network of licensed veterinary professionals, ready to address any immediate concerns. Book your first appointment today.
Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.